Yes, guys, welcome back to the Fantasy Football Social Extra. Yes, that's right. These are extra episodes that aren't really FPL related. They're just football topics. And of course, this week, what bigger football news story is there than the Newcastle Takeover? So we are joined by Newcastle fan Ed. That's right. Ed supports Newcastle, glory hunter from back in the 90s. Ed, tell me about why you support Newcastle. It's quite a romantic story.
Nothing romantic about it. I was born there and I've had to suffer it as a burden my whole entire life. The things I've seen have been awful. Basically, when we were good in the 90s, I wasn't old enough to appreciate it. The early days of in the early noughties under Bob Robson, we're in the Champions League. I got to appreciate that a bit. But ever since I've been sort of an independent person from 15 onwards, we've been rubbish because Mike Ashley has owned us. Now he no longer owns us. And it's a happy day in that respect that he's gone. Good luck, Derby, who it looks like he might be buying. So, yes, I'm a Newcastle fan, have always been.
Okay, guys, we're going to be talking about in the next 10 minutes, and this is only a 10-minute show, we're going to be talking about our Newcastle 11 in 12 months' time, what we think it might be. So we're going to throw some names out here. We're going to talk about the next manager odds, because at the time of recording this, Steve Bruce is still in charge. By the time you listen to it, he probably won't be, but there won't be a permanent manager in charge. So we're going to talk about who we think will be the next permanent manager. Going to get Ed's take on those names. But first, we're just going to touch on the ownership, what our take is, the whole human rights thing, the Premier League thing. What do we think, Ed? Because it feels like there's a lot of people taking the moral high ground and judging Newcastle fans for being so pro this takeover, which I find a little bit rich, excuse the pun, knowing so many of these fans might support other Premier League teams that have got, let's just say
morally dubious owners.
Morally dubious. Well put. Perhaps, yeah. And we're not saying they're all in the same league as the Saudi Arabia regime. We're not saying that, but just morally dubious. And we were all very happy at the time. For example, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I was ecstatic when Abramovich bought us and started spending loads of money.
Yeah, there's two extremes on this, Gianni. People will either go to, I put a video on Twitter about this in 2 minutes, 20 seconds, but I'll sum it up for you. There's two extremes people seem to be taking. One is they say, Newcastle fans, you cannot support Newcastle anymore. This is morally horrendous. Like, how could you live with yourselves to do that? The other extreme is to say, it doesn't matter where the money comes from. Who cares? Well, hey, you support Newcastle and not even think about it. Both of those extremes are too simplistic. It's a bit more complicated. But the same fund that have bought 80% of Newcastle, right, the PIF fund of Saudi Arabia, this public investment fund, they also own stakes in chess, tennis, golf, boxing, wrestling, Formula One. Do you watch Formula One? How dare you watch Formula One? They have stakes in Facebook, in Uber, in Disney, in EA Games, which make FIFA, right? Do you play FIFA? Then you are a human rights abuser. A Saudi prince owns 5% of Twitter. Do you have a Twitter account? Delete it. If you're going to be consistent with that view, then it means you're going to have to boycott all of that stuff, right? So you can't just say Newcastle fans, they're owned by this. How dare you do that? Well, okay, mate, be consistent. Don't be a hypocrite. Get rid of it all. If you did get rid of it all, total respect to you, right? But I don't think many people are going to do that. The other end of the spectrum is also on that. Sorry, just to finish. Sorry, I'm on a rant now. Just to finish. The other thing on that, the reason this deal, you might be thinking, how did this suddenly get resurrected and suddenly go through? Well, one of the things was the Premier League received assurances, legally binding assurances from PIF that said the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will not be involved in the running of Newcastle United in any way. And if there's any evidence that there is involvement from the government, from the royal family of Saudi Arabia, Newcastle could be kicked out of the league. So the club will be run by Amanda Staveley. The 80% owned of Newcastle is just a public investment fund. It's an investment fund to make money, to spend money, an investment fund, right? So you can say it's linked to Saudi Arabia, and of course it is still linked to Saudi Arabia, but it's not explicitly linked. So yeah, Man United have had a deal with the PIF fund for 10 years. Did you know that, Gianni?
I did, because I watched your Twitter video in 2 minutes 20. We may as well just posted that as part of this video, because there's a few clips in there and you go, it was brilliant. I hope for those who've watched both and smiled like I did when they went, do you play FIFA? Yes, you play FIFA. And I'm thinking, that's exactly what you said yesterday.
I know, no, yesterday it was EA Games. It's in the game. They're going to chop your heads off, mate.
Oh, even better. Oh, so you saved the funnier stuff for Twitter, eh?
Yeah, well, yeah, no. I'm funny all the time, Gianni. let me just say, the other end of the spectrum is Newcastle fans saying nothing to do with us. We don't, just don't care. Like, we're not even going to think about it. Well, I'd suggest as well. I know this is on the video as well, but it's just the point, isn't it? That we do need to think about it.
Of course. And
the way you've got to get, everyone individually has to get their heads around how are they going to be happy when Newcastle win, and not every time it's going to be tainted. Not any trophies we win in the future are going to be covered in the blood of people who've been murdered by this regime, right? It's a serious thing. I know the way I've got around it, and I said it in my Twitter video, is that when I go to a match, I'm not supporting the owners, I'm supporting the club that's existed for 100 years, that I've supported my whole life. It's something bigger than what the owners stand for, right? And we can keep asking questions about the PIF and Saudi Arabia. We can keep, protesting or whatever we end up doing, right? This has raised the conversation about human rights, isn't it? In Saudi Arabia. So whatever that ends up doing, I don't know. But I will shamelessly go and support Newcastle. Next Sunday, I've got tickets. I'm going to go, and I will not be ashamed to do that.
Well, I hope you enjoy it and get the big win. Steve Bruce may or may not be in charge. If he is, it may be his last game. If he's not, it won't be a surprise. And I hope this video perhaps will be posted on Wednesday or Thursday. We're recording it on a Monday night. So things may have changed. But the current odds on Monday night for the next manager, you can get Graham Potter at 10-1. You get Gerrard at 8-1. You get Martinez at 6-1, the Belgian manager that's done so poorly in the Premier League in the past, but plays nice football. You can get Conte, an absolute proven winner, the second favourite, ladies and gentlemen. The guy that I think would probably be, if Ollie was up for the sack at United, I think it would be Conte's job to lose. But we don't think Ollie's going anywhere. Conte's free, 4-1. What an appointment that would be. We know one thing Conte needs when he goes to a football club, or likes, or demands, which is why he's not at Spurs. It's money. But the favourite is Favre at 3-1. So, or Favre, former Nice manager, did well at Dortmund, sat around 10 months ago at Dortmund. But this is the guy that played sexy football, Sancho, Haaland. Let's not talk about Favre. I know he's favourite at 3-1. But for me, Conte's got an absolute chance here because, as I said, he is ready and waiting, I think, for a huge job. But he will need spending. So you look at the clubs where looking for managers. PSG, the Spanish clubs, no, they're happy in their management, or they're not with Barcelona, but he's not going there. He won't be given money. United is the one for Conte. But if Ollie's not going anywhere and he doesn't think that's happening, he might jump into Newcastle. He'll get money. He knows the Premier League, speaks the language, and he's a free agent. We've got to remember what situation we're in. Newcastle is still 19th. We can't buy anyone until January, obviously, when we're going to have 190 in terms of financial fair play, because we've spent no money. We could spend 190 million if we wanted in January, right? In one big go. But the thing is, we need to remember we're 19th. Is a Conte going to come to Newcastle where he thinks, if I don't get things going pretty quickly, we could get relegated, right? Is he? So I don't think I'd. Although Conte is obviously an amazing manager, I'm not sure he's for now. He's the sort of manager we should be looking to get in 5 years' time, maybe. I would take someone, whoever we approach, we should say, look, you've got 5 years regardless. If we get relegated this season, we'll stick with you. We'll back you in the championship. Yeah, we'll bounce back straight away. We've got the money to absorb that. I think someone. But you're not going down. No matter who you get, you're not going down because you will be spending in January. And even if you don't spend in January, you're not going down. So let's not talk about going down to the championship. Okay, but I mean, the thing is, you've seen clubs in the past spend loads of money and it just doesn't click, or suddenly get injured and the form just doesn't pick up. But yes, okay, let's not talk about that. But the one I'd go for that I think is realistic, it's ambitious, it's forward thinking, it's a good next step, not going straight from Steve Bruce to Antonio Conte, is Graham Potter, who I tweeted about 4 or 5 months ago, I think, saying he's going to be the next England manager. I think he's brilliant. Well, Spurs wanted him. Yeah, Spurs. Yeah, well, and maybe he turned them down. I don't know. But I mean, come on, someone, I think it as, or someone on Twitter saying, why would he go? Or was it FF Scout Joe? Why would he go to Newcastle? Because he'd get £1 trillion to spend, and his contract would be tripled, and and he'd be leading. And he won't have to sell his best players. He's just had to sell his best player at Brighton. He will be unhappy as Larry. Exactly. He sold Ben White, his best player, had to sell. And now Brighton, they're a really good football club, Brighton, but Graham Potter will outgrow them very soon if he hasn't already. Yeah. And why would you go to Newcastle? What, 52,000 seats full every week with unlimited budget? With the most exciting club in the world at the moment, and
Yeah, the whole world's talking about us. Why would you want to go? What a ridiculous comment.
Yeah.
So I think I'd love Graham Potter. I'm sorry, Brighton fans, but it's our turn now. Newcastle have always been the ones who've never been able to do this. But Graham Potter.
Brighton
I also wouldn't mind Steven Gerrard.
Brighton are a cracking club. They'll go and make a really good appointment if Potter does go. They won't be signing a Steve Bruce type manager. They're a very forward-thinking football club. Yeah. So let's move on. That's our managers. We've got a couple of minutes now. Let's do, what do we think an 11 could look like in 12 months? Now, this is obviously very dependent on a manager. One guy I promise you will not be in it is Mbappe. And it's winding me up that for some reason, in all these 11s you see, I don't know why, I don't know where it's come from, that Mbappe's in there. So the world's worst kept secret in football is Mbappe will be a Real Madrid player in the not too distant future. That might be in 6 months, that might be in 2 years. That will happen. He ain't going Newcastle. So let's not put Mbappe in the 11.
The one that annoys me that I keep saying is Coutinho. I don't want Coutinho. He'll be on about 200 grand a week and he looks like he's at the end of his career. I don't want these end of the career mercenaries. Aaron Ramsey's been linked with us. I don't want them. Get young, exciting, hungry players who can come to us. People like Wilf Zaha, people like James Ward-Prowse, people like Tarkowski, English quality Premier League players who we can bring together and make an amazing club. Now, I realise when I'm saying this, there's fans of these clubs, Southampton, thinking, Ward-Prowse, why would he go to EA? How dare you? I know, right? But I've never been able to do this before. So just let me dream, right? Ward-Prowse comes to us, all these young English players or kind of established English players. I'd love it.
Okay, so let's do a 4-4-2. I know it's not really played anymore, but just for ideal 11s, it works, right? So let's name, and we've got to do this quick, so we can't talk about them in detail.
Okay, let me establish something. I'm going to leave in my team to make it as realistic as possible. The players I think who can stick around for a few years and it'll be okay. Alan Saint-Maximin, keep hold of. Dubravka in goal, fine. This is not an urgent priority. Fernandez, even at the centre back, is our best centre back. He's our best centre back. But I'm just trying to make it realistic. Jamal Lewis left back with a good coach. Joe Willock in midfield. So I'm looking to fill a centre back position, a right back position, centre mid, defensive, a right winger, and 2 strikers.
All right, Ed.
Yeah.
So it's a bit sexier. Yeah. Can we just keep Saint-Maximin, Willock, and the goalkeeper?
Okay, let's do it. Fine.
Yeah, because otherwise it's So we keep the keeper because you've got Darlow there as backup as well. So the keeper stays. We've got Dubravka. Who are your 2 centre backs? I can see you mentioned Tarkowski. I could see someone that's a Premier League player at a big club going down a bit but staying on his high wages. A Lindelof or an Eric Bailly.
Yeah, I mean it'd be much better. I mean, look at me now. I mean, it'd be much better than what we've got. I'd rather someone like a Koulibaly coming to us. Real statement signing.
Koulibaly, you mean the world? He is literally the most wanted centre-back in world football.
Yeah, and we've got the most money in world football. We could buy Koulibaly and his whole club. Who's he play for? Napoli, is it?
And he is about 30 now. He's 20. He's about 30.
Exactly. We could buy the whole of the Napoli team and stick him in the kitchens to cook the burgers. We've got enough money.
All right, let's go Koulibaly with Tarkowski. I like that. Yeah. Who are fullbacks they could go after? Right back, left back.
Right back, Trippier. He wants out. Trips. He's on big wages and he's good.
I like that shout. Left back, you did mention Jamal Lewis. Fair enough. I think you're right. Like with the right manager, he could. He was
really good talent. Liverpool were linked with him, and then we ended up getting him. And it's just Steve Bruce can't manage. Honestly, so
can I give you a name though?
Yeah, go on.
Another United, not reject, but Alex Telles. I think Newcastle are going to become like a bit like Everton. They take all the waifs and strays from Old Trafford because there's a lot of them there.
I mean, I'm not going to say no, so let's shove him in. Okay, fine.
All right, you got Alex Telles, free kick specialist, Brazilian, did well at Porto. So your back 4 is Trippier, Koulibaly, Tarkowski, and Telles. Your midfield 4.
This is amazing.
You've mentioned Wilf Zaha. Let's stick him on the wing.
Yeah, let's put Zaha on the wing.
Joe Willock in the middle of the park. So we need a defensive midfielder to partner Joe Willock.
Realistic one. I mean, we're not going to get Declan Rice or someone, are we?
No.
We're not going to get Kante.
I doubt it. You might get El Neni from Arsenal.
Don't want him. He's not sexy enough. Let's go for Calvin Phillips from Leeds.
Oh, great shout. Although again, he's got his pick of the clubs, but Phillips and Willock.
Yeah, yes,
like
Gianni, we're going to go through this. He's got his pick of the clubs, and we have the most money. Okay.
Also, he's a Yorkshireman. He's not too far away.
Not too far from his family. I've seen the Leeds documentary. He loves his family. So, it's just an hour on the train or something, hour and a half.
Yeah. Who's going to play left side of midfield then? Who's a winger that can play either side? Is maybe Sancho is going to be such a flop at Old Trafford. Sancho makes his way over.
Well, I think in a normal world you put Saint-Maximin left wing.
Oh, we're not putting St. Max up top.
Only FPL did that really. I mean, I know Steve Bruce did it, but he's not really a striker. So let's put ASM on the left wing, and then we get to pick two strikers
like Harry Kane and Mbappe.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure. Harry Kane may be on the bench with his current form. So, I reckon a realistic striker we can get. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, Callum Wilson, I like. If we kept Callum Wilson and then got one like marquee striker.
Wilson's always injured, so you need two marquee strikers.
Okay, two marquee. Yeah, okay, two. I like that. Yeah, two marquee strikers.
Danny Ings?
Nah, he's not marquee enough.
And he's just moved to Villa.
He's just moved, isn't he?
What about, could Ollie Watkins outgrow Villa?
No, I wouldn't want him.
You wouldn't want Ollie Watkins?
No, he's all right. He doesn't score. He's not prolific. I want prolific goal scorers.
Okay.
I don't want, he might get an assist or he might shoot and it deflects off someone in. I want prolific.
You want goals? Okay. What?
All right,
I've got one for you.
Yeah.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's going to outgrow Everton eventually.
Love him. Love it. Yes, Calvert-Lewin. But then we need someone quick and nippy, and Michael Owen next to him.
Small. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's probably one of the fastest strikers in the league in terms of miles per hour, but I know what you mean. You want small and you want big man, little man.
Yeah.
Bring Jermaine Defoe out of retirement. Who is he playing?
Mason Greenwood. Still? We're not going to get him.
No, not Greenwood. Greenwood's a great shout, but no. Who would you go with DCL? I mean, maybe you go DCL with Charlison.
No, I don't want Charlison.
He's
got too much of a temper.
Might as well bring Benitez back with him from all from Goodison Park. Okay. Well, look, I mean, we're a striker short, so we're going to give you a name. Oh, I've got it.
Haaland.
We're
going to get Favre in as manager, who's best mates with Haaland, probably managed him. And bought him surely at Dortmund, didn't he? Maybe.
Probably.
I don't know. Probably, yeah. So I reckon we'll have Haaland, thanks.
And you may as well put Sancho in for good measure then.
Yeah, Sancho can sit on the bench alongside Neymar and Mbappe.
Yeah, okay. I tell you what, I've got one for you. If you've got money, because he's at a club who don't have bags of money and would sell their best players if the right bid came in. An English striker, another tall guy like DCL. He's just moved overseas. He's scoring the goals already at Roma. He's hit the woodwork 6 times this season.
Tammy Abraham,
6 times the woodwork.
Tammy Abraham had many sons. Right, brilliant. Yeah, Tammy Abraham, shove him up front.
All right, so you've got Dubravka in goal, Trippier, Koulibaly, Tarkowski, and Tellez, Zaha, Willock, Phillips, and St. Max. That's a nice looking midfield.
Okay, of that, sorry, just finish it, and then I've got a little challenge.
And then DCL and Abraham.
All right. And Abraham. Okay, now you tot up how much you think that'll cost, and I will as well. Okay.
Oh, good lord.
Quickly, right? Okay, so
right,
just the ones that we've bought, so not Dubravka or.
All right, let's go through them. Trippier's 10 million or 15.
15, right?
This is buying them in January because
15 for Trippier.
Koulibaly 80.
Really? Flipping heck.
Yeah, even though
Tarkowski will be 50.
Yeah, 50. Tellez 15. No, 20.
20.
Because they paid more than that. So that's 150. That's 100. That's 165 for the back line.
Phillips.
Phillips 70.
70. Why not? Spare change for us.
Zaha, his buyout was something like 78 or 80, but let's say it's down now. I can get Zaha for 55.
Yeah, I do as well. 55 and a half.
All right, 55.5. So Max you've got and Willock you've got, so we don't need to worry about those two.
Yeah.
And then Abraham's just moved for 30, but he'll be 70 million because he's a forward.
70.
So
all right, why not?
If he scores
extra
goals,
20 million, we'll just find that down the back of the sofa. That's fine.
Because remember, all these players are going with you've got the richest owner in the world tax,
premium,
right?
Yeah.
That's 30% tax.
DCL will be what, 60?
Yeah, 60 for DCL all day long.
Okay, 130 million for a front line. You've got 125 spent in midfield and then 165 at the back. So in total, that's a lot of money.
That is
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 500, 510 million, is it? Something like that.
No, 420.5.
Flipping heck. All right, well, that's easy. I mean, 420.5 million. Easy.
And that's without buying a goalkeeper, a left winger, a centre mid. So we're keeping, that's without three.
So this will be
players.
our B team. Now the A team. The A team with Mbappe, Haaland, Jorginho, the best player in the world.
Yeah, I'm only going what UEFA gave Jorginho. They have awarded him the Men's Player of the Year.
Look, it's exciting times to be a Newcastle fan. I think all Newcastle fans know that. I think everyone on Twitter has seen that. It's very exciting. I can't wait for the game next Sunday. We've been taken over, guys. We're coming for you. All you people who've had all the money for ages, all you people with ambitious owners who've done stuff. Newcastle are coming. We're a one-club city. Do you know what that means? No, because none of you lot are. One club. We are a powerhouse, ready to take over the world.
I'm delighted for you. I'm gutted with the human rights thing. I'm gutted that the owners are able to buy a football club, but at the same time, I completely get all your arguments. And do you know what? If any fan base deserves a club that's got their current owner or their old owner, Mike Ashley, out, and whoever that is in, that club deserves, those fans deserve success. And of course, they're going to get some now.
Let's hope. I mean, if we don't, it would be very typical Newcastle, wouldn't it? Spending 500 million and getting Conte, and then we still don't win anything for 20 years.
Do you know what? You lot will take, like, in the next 5 years, you'll take some good players, some fun football, and an FA Cup, right? That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything. If these guys bring us the League Cup just in the next 10 years, Newcastle fans would fall at their feet in worship. Yeah. You know, it's just, that's the sort of level we're playing at. Anyway, right.
Guys, thank you very much for watching. I've been Gianni. He's been Ed. You've been someone that we absolutely love for supporting us. So thank you for watching. Comment though, if you wanna put your Newcastle 11, we'll comment on our thoughts. But please, if you're going to do one thing and one thing only, and you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. And if you already do that, give us a like. Thank you very much, guys. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.